All right, everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at Friday, August 4th. It was a pretty good day of price action, so I want to go back and look at a few things. Um, so just give a little bit of context here. It's like pre-market, we came up, touched this like 451.50 area, rejected it. Then we came down and touched 448.50 or so and bounced it. And now at open, we are back right below this level at 451. So this is an hourly level. MACD is given a call signal back here. The EMAs have crossed over here, which means again calls or a buy signal. We're holding above the 8 EMA, and then all we have to do is get above this level, and we're good for calls. So off the open, that is what I'm thinking is calls. So I want to see how it plays out here. So I'm just going to go ahead and start playing, and we're going to see how the morning evolves. So we had the EMAs crossed back at like 8:45. MACD crossed back at like 8:10. And we're going to watch how this candle moves here. Okay, so about 10 seconds to market open. Let's just see how it goes. All right. Let's see what happens. Let's see how this morning develops. Okay. Looking a tiny bit weak so far, but we're only 40 seconds in. Now we're back over the 8 EMA. So the 8 EMA is the purple line, the white dashed line is the 21 EMA, and the light blue is the 50 EMA, and then the orange line is VWAP. So now we're a minute and a half in. We've had basically almost a push off the 21. Now we have a decent green candle, pretty much right at 451. So it's looking good here. MACD is starting to open back up a little bit. Right at the level here. See how it reacts to 451. Pretty much right through it. A little bit of a pullback. If you were a risky trader, you would consider taking calls here. I like to wait, so I'm going to wait and see. And I'm actually going to buy here with my buttons. Once I get to where I think I want to enter. I want to see a close above the 451 level, so a candle close above 451. That will confirm calls for me, and then we'll look for an entry after that. That's what I'm trying to get better at, is confirming the move and then looking for an entry after the move has been confirmed, not just immediately jumping into it. So let's see here, we're 3 minutes in, it's looking okay. It's kind of right around the 451 level. It's a pretty strong looking first candle. Pretty much all buying volume down there. So this is pretty much enough past the level that if you were a riskier trader, you could take this breakout here. This breakout move looks like it's looking all right. I do not like to take breakout entries though. I've found that typically if you just wait a little bit, you get a pullback entry, which I like to take the pullback entry. So let's just see what happens here. Wait for the candle to close. All right, still pretty strong candle. We got 40 seconds left in it. Very strong first candle. So what this should be telling you is that there's a lot of buying momentum, right? Because it's basically been 4 minutes of straight buying, but except for this little wick at the beginning. But you can see that wick basically came down, and now the 21 is right on that wick. And here up here is a shaved top, so that's very strong buying. It's already moved a lot, but it's already moved up to 451.50. So if you were going to do a breakout trade, this would be a little late to enter, because the 21 EMA or the 8 EMA is down here at 450.79. So let's see what happens here. So we've had a candle close above the level. We're above all of the EMAs. We have a buy signal on the EMAs. We have a buy signal on the MACD. Now we got our bright green bars, and this is starting to open back up. Everything's looking good. Let's just kind of see what happens here. Now we got to look for an entry. So now our calls move has been confirmed because of all this stuff. Now we're just going to look for an entry. Where can we find the best entry? In my opinion, is the best entry is on the 8 EMA. So we're going to see what happens. A little bit of a red inside bar. A little red inside bar like that typically means a pullback to the 8. So, but it's only been a minute of this candle, so let's just wait and see what happens here. No, it's kind of sitting there. Hesitating at this 451.60-ish price. I've kind of noticed the first 2 minutes, I really don't want to enter in the first 2 minutes. We're just about to get past that point here. See, pretty much not much has happened. You can see we're well extended from the 8 EMA. The 8 EMA is all the way down at 451, and we're 57 cents above that. So, in my opinion, this would not be a great place to enter, because price is more than likely going to come back to the purple line. But let's see. We're here to learn, so let's just sit and watch. Still 2.5 minutes, almost 3 minutes in, this candle hasn't done anything. It's just sitting here, not moving. Still, man, it's still not doing anything. And now it's starting to take off a little bit. A little bit of taking off. Let's check our system while we're waiting here. So MACD is in a buy signal. The bright green bars are back, and they're kind of getting a little bigger, which means buying momentum is picking up. These are going away from each other, which is a good sign for buying momentum. A little bit of selling coming in here on the second volume bar. So we'll just kind of see how it goes. But this is my ideal setup for calls. The EMAs are crossed in a buy signal. Price is above all the EMAs. MACD is a buy signal. All you're doing now is moving from level to level. So we broke the 450.98 yellow level. The next one is the 452.17 would be our next target. At this point, I'm still waiting because I don't want to enter here because I think there's a high probability the price is going to come down to the purple line. So I'm going to wait until the price comes to the purple line, and then I'm going to take my trade. If you took the breakout down here, you'd be up well, but that's just, I don't really like doing the breakouts. So we'll sit and chill and see what happens. This candle's almost closed. There's like 10 seconds left, so pretty good close of the candle. Okay. Pretty good close. Let's see what happens here. Still looking for a pullback. Here we go. Nice red inside bar starting. I'm going to put an order down at, oh, I don't know how it's going to work. Let's see here. Price is 139. Oh, what is that? Hold on, let me pause this. Why isn't this working? What's today's date? August. So August 4th. Why will it not take the 8? Why won't it take these calls? That's weird. Usually this works. Usually it lets me put an order in for calls. Valid option class. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why it won't let me do that. Oh. That's strange. I don't know why it won't let me, yeah. August 4th. And we'll do like the 453 calls. Huh. Do I have them like typed in weird or something? Where's that? No, I don't want the 4. I want the August. Sorry, I don't know why this isn't working. Normally this just works. I want the August 7th, 450, because what's the price? 451.70. So I want like the 453 calls. Normally this just works. Normally, let me see here. Okay, that's weird. I've never had a problem with these before. I think I want the 452 calls. Let me do the 452 calls. Now let me see if it will let me set an order for like 117. Yeah, okay. That works. So let's do that. I set an order down near here and see if it fills. As the price pulls back pretty close to this purple line is where I want to buy. So let's see. Let's see if this works. So this is what I would do in real life. I would set an order down by the 8 EMA and I would wait for price to come back to fill it. We're 1 minute and 20 seconds into this candle. Now that's looking like a red candle. There we go, getting a pullback. Hopefully this is looking promising here. This is looking promising. Hopefully it executes my order. These contracts, when you do this on demand, they don't really, the price isn't real accurate. So what did I set my order at? Just guessed 117. This should pull back to 117. I've noticed that it's not very accurate, but you do the best you can with it. Let's see here. This definitely looks like it can come back farther. I'm looking for that purple line as my entry. This actually came down. Could probably make this a little lower. Shoot. Okay, not 117. Let's do low. Let's do lower. Damn it. Let's do like 114. Yeah, that's better. Try to get it to line up with the purple line better. Okay. So it's doing all right. Just waiting for a deeper pullback. I want to see how quickly it comes down and touches this purple line and bounces up. That's really what I'm interested to see. So here we go, coming down. Should fill my order here pretty quickly. Hopefully this fills. There we go. Do it. Fill. Where did it get down to? See, it still says the price is 125. These contracts are not right. The price doesn't move fast enough on these contracts. Like, well, let's see. This might not work. I might have to just see. It says the price is 128, but the price should not be 128. The price should be like way. Is this thing saying I'm already in a position? This looks like I'm already in a position. It says I bought. Oh, what the heck? It says I'm already in a position. Whatever. Alright. So according to this, I'm already in a position. Even though it's still got the order on the screen. Trying to actually trade contracts in on-demand is real goofy. It's like, it says I'm already in a position, but it still has my order on the screen. Let's see what happens. There we go. It should be filling my order. I don't know why it's not. But this is where I want to buy. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm just going to buy 5. And get rid of that. Get off my screen. Now I don't know how many I have. I think I have 10. I can't tell. I don't know. Well, whatever. There we go. We got rid of it. All right. So we're in a trade. I'm not sure how many contracts I have. I think I have 10. But let's see. I bought down here, which is pretty much right where I wanted to buy. Now let's see how the trade goes. All right, so I got my pullback entry down around here. And now let's see how this goes. I think a pretty good profit target would be to trim some up at this level. And then ultimate target would be up here at 452.17. So let's see how this goes. What's it say my price is? It says my average price is 129. That definitely is not right. Battery is critically low. Alright, there we go. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, now we're pushing up nicely. But these contracts are jacked up. It says I'm red, even though I would not be red at this point. because I bought down here and now price is up there. There's a very big lag in the price of these things. Huge lag. This is around where I would want to trim. I'm going to trim like, not quite. Wait for it to push a little more. Get rid of a couple of them. I don't know how many I have. 5, 6, 6. So I think I have 8. How did I end up with 18 contracts? What? How in the world did I end up with 18 contracts? I think I have 8 contracts. I can't tell. I don't know. I'm just going to flatten at some point. I'm going to get rid of another one here. Sell. So we're kind of fluctuating at this level. See if we can push any higher. Since I have so many, I'm just going to get rid of them all. I can't tell how many I have. Let's see if we can push now. Target is up here. So we had a really, really good entry. We entered right down around this level. Perfect pullback entry. And now we're waiting for price to push higher. Target of 452.17. I have no idea how many contracts I have. This thing is being real glitchy. But you can see here we're starting to struggle with this level. So 451.70 is starting to become a level that we can't push past. We now have 3 candle bodies stuck at it. So this isn't looking too hot. But everything says calls, so we're gonna see what happens here. This might just be a little scalp. I think I have 4 contracts left. I can't tell. Okay, still not doing anything at this level. So it's worrying here that we're not able to push past 451.71. That's not bad. That's a little push there. We really need to get a close above this level. We got 40 seconds left in the candle. Push right back down below it though. Push back below the level. Yeah, so we're definitely getting a wall here. Definitely getting a wall here. I'll get rid of one of these. Get rid of one of these. Now we're down to I think 3 left. Let's see how this closes. We got 6 seconds to the close. Yeah, close below the level. Let's see if we can make any headway here. There we go. Oh, whoops, what was that? That was goofy. Yeah. Is that real? Sometimes these don't, that was strange. So let's pause this. This is a good spot to pause. So calls looked good. We're in calls. We've already taken some profit. We basically bought our calls down in this area around 451.25 or so. And now we're up here. But if you look at this, we have 4 candles now at this 451.70. And we can't go higher. So this is not looking too good. Even though everything else lines up for calls, the actual price action is saying I have a wall at this level. I've made 3 attempts now, and we're not really getting anywhere. So let's see how this goes. But I'm thinking this might just be a scalp, because this is not looking too hot. We're still up on our contracts though, so that's good. But that's a pretty harsh pullback. like right away back to the 8 EMA. So at this point, because I have runners, I am looking to get out at my entry price, or if we go enough below the 8, because I don't want to let this go red. Now this is gonna get, these contracts are gonna be all goofed up. So according to this, I'm at my entry price. I'm like right at break even. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of time here. But that's looking pretty harsh. So yeah, we're basically back. So I'm gonna get rid of all of these. I should be out of my trade. I can't tell if I'm out of my trade or not. There we go, out of my trade. So okay, here, pause this. So we entered calls around here on the pullback. Great entry, low risk. We got this very nice push up here. We trimmed around high a day. This is a safe spot to trim at high a day. You can't expect the move is going to go forever, so you have to at least cover some profit at high a day. And then we had a very harsh reject. Big red candle. We're only a minute and 20 seconds into this. Big red candle. We pushed below the 8 EMA. We pushed right down to 450, actually a little bit below 451. The contracts came back to the break-even point. So I'm not gonna, my original stop loss in this point doesn't matter, because we've trimmed in profit and now we've come back to break entry, or well, now we've come back to break even on the contracts, back to the entry price. So that's what I do with runners. I'll hold them until you get back to your entry price or you go below the 8 EMA. We did both here, so I'm all out. So a little bit of profit, but I'm not even going to look at it, because again, these contracts don't move right. Like, they're very, very laggy compared to how the price moves. So you really can't like trade that close to real life in here. It's just the action of clicking the buttons and stuff. But we're out of that trade, so now let's see what develops. That was a pretty harsh sell-off, so this might be like a kind of rounding off and then a big flush here. So now we're right below. This is actually looking good for puts here, so let me update this. 449 puts. Right down to the 21. See how this candle closes, because if we go below the 21 here, this can come down quite a bit. We just blew through the 8 like it wasn't even standing there. It comes down to the 21 to a penny. But if it stays in this area down here, I think it's very likely that we could sell off, because we made 4 candles here. We couldn't go higher. So when we can't go higher, the market will go lower. But we don't have any of our sell signals yet, right? So we don't have a MACD cross to sell, and we don't have an EMA cross to sell. So let's just be a little patient here and see what happens. This could just be a fake out, fake, what is it? Failed breakout, failed breakdown, I guess. So let's see what happens. We're not really getting bought up that heavy though. Let's see what happens. This is setting up for the move I really like though. I really like this move up, hit a wall, round off, come down, lose the 8, lose the 21, and then usually if you lose the 8 and 21 like this thing will flush like really nicely, really nice fast flush. So we're gonna watch that here and see what happens. Still, it's holding below this level now, so if you were to zoom out a lot, this would be a false breakout of the 451 level is what it's looking like. So it's looking good for puts here, but we gotta wait for our setup to pull together. This This isn't really getting bought up at all. Selling volume is increasing. Okay. Depending how confident you were, you could take puts right here, even though we don't have either of our sell signals. But this is a very bearish looking candle, right at the 21. Like, it's not. If this was a bounce candle, it would have already pushed back up over the 8. But this is very close to. This is going to close below the 8 now. There we go. So we'll kind of see what happens here. We're getting close to getting a MACD cross. Now we're pushing below the 21. This looks very good for a sell-off. Very good. A little bit at the 21. I like to wait. Let me try to wait here and see. That's a strong close below the AEMA though, very strong. We're going down. We're already getting close to touching the 50. This looks very good for puts here. You got to watch though. Sometimes these MACD lines will come together, touch, and then open back up. But this is looking very bearish here. So let me see what happens. Give it some time. Holding below VWAP very well, holding below the 21, flirting with the 50 EMA. Maybe if we get a little bit of a pullback here, we'll enter. I like to try to wait for 2 minutes into the candle. So let's see at 9:57 what it looks like. Oh, there it goes. Wow, it's already starting to move. Oh, this might be a touch too late. That would have been a better entry up here. This thing's already starting to go. Oh man. See if we get a pullback. A little bit of a pullback here. This is already starting to go. Oh man, you would have wanted to enter that earlier. Alright, I'm gonna enter. Ideally, you would have wanted to enter up here because you could see that the thing was about to lose it. We got a little bit of a late entry, but that's okay. I think this will be fine. Let's see here, because we're well below the 50. Now this thing has got, honestly, this thing's next point is, this 449.87 didn't really do much over here pre-market. So I say our price target is kind of down here at 448.75. We have this support pre-market, 448.90. This is kind of our target down here. So let's see. Now we're in puts. Let's see what it looks like. Holding well, holding well. This thing says we're up a bunch, but again, we'll see how it works here. Definitely could have entered this a little earlier. Like when this price was sitting up here around like 450.70 would have been the spot to enter. Just because of how good this looked. But we'll see. It's holding below the 50. Holding below the 50. So if I was going to have a stop loss on this, a stop loss would probably be if it gets back up over VWAP, but we'll see what it does. Now it has a lot of resistance to the upside. Let's see, minute and 45 left in the candle. A quick little calls win, wasn't much to it, but now we've got this really nice puts move set up, so we'll see how it goes. Holding this level right at the 50 EMA. Still holding below the 50. This is looking real good. Minute left in the candle. Selling volume is looking good. Not a whole lot of buying. We did enter early though. Ideally for puts, you would want the MACD to clearly cross and you'd want the EMAs to clearly cross. But I've seen this happen before where the move happens before these will cross. If you go back to one of my earlier videos, I forget what day it was, earlier this week, there was the same move happened, but I waited until all the indicators said sell, and at that point it was too late. The move was already done. So I don't want to wait in here because this looks really good. So let's see, 15 seconds to the close. If we close below the 50, we should be well set to lose it on this. Flirting with the 50. Looks like we're going to close below. Beautiful. Let's see here. A little tap of the 50 there. And let's see what develops. So we have our MACD cross now. MACD cross, we have a red bar forming. Pretty good volume the last two bars had pretty good selling volume. So let's see how she develops. And I'm gonna hold, I think, on this until we get pretty far down because this is looking like a good setup. And this 449.87 didn't really do anything pre-market, so I don't think much is gonna happen when we get to that level. That means our target is either 448.44 or probably gonna want to consider trimming covering when we get down this where these two bars found support here. So let's watch how this goes here. So far, it looks beautiful for puts. A little bit of a hesitation here. Sometimes these take a little bit of time to open up. Well, now it's a little bit of a green bar, so it's not looking. Well, let's just give it time here. Let's just give it time. We're up a lot. Well, not up a lot. We're up a decent amount. We're up like 12% or something, 10%. Let's see. I think this thing said our entry was like 94 cents, so we're up, probably up like 13% or something right now. There we go. Now it's starting to open up. Nice shaved bar. Very cool. Very good. First test will be this purple level, which I don't think a whole lot's going to happen. I think it's just going to kind of ignore it. You could trim here though. This would be an okay spot to trim because it is a level you have identified. The purple means it's from the weekly, so the 3-year weekly chart is where the purple came from. 450 is also a huge psychological number for SPY, but yeah, it didn't really. Oh wow, yeah, it just said it could basically ignored it. This is a beautiful candle. This is nice. This is nice. I'm gonna take just a little bit off here just to protect myself. So 129. Our entry was 94 and we sold at 129. That's like a 34% move if that's right. Well, let's just hold this here. Again, our target is down this area somewhere. So let's see how this develops. This is a great looking candle though so far. Pretty much straight selling. Selling volume's picking up down here. We're just about to break the previous bar's selling volume. About a minute to the close. We took one off just to cover some profit. Now we got 4 left. Reset myself to 4. But this is looking great. Nothing here says that I should sell. Beautiful push. Look like the EMAs are about to cross here. See how they're about to cross? Very, very solid candle. Big move. Dang. I can't do this without, I gotta cover at least a little bit here. Cover one more, so now we got 3 left. We'll hold 3, let's hold 3. When you get those big candles that just move straight, you have to cover some because you never know where it's gonna find support. Now we've trimmed 2, well in profit. So let's see how these other 3 go. Nice close. So now we have MACD has crossed with growing red bars. That's great. The EMAs have now crossed. So now we have our full puts entry. But we've already been in since up here somewhere. So we're already up good. We've already made almost a dollar move. So let's see. We're looking at 448. 90 is what's next, so about another 60 cents. Let's see how this moves here. I think I'm going to trim 2 more at this line down here and just leave 1 and see what happens, because that's already a pretty good move. Our entry was 94 cents and this contract says it's 147, so we're up well over 50% here. Well over 50%. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We're 449.08. When we get to 448.90, I'm gonna do 2 here. And I'm just doing markets because this is all jacked up, so I don't want to try to like do anything too crazy. I'm actually going to set a level here. Let me just put this here real quick. We're going to sell when it touches that line. Real close. Getting real close. Real close. Real close. Real close. Come on. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Oh. Where am I? A little bit more. I'm going to hold a second. Wow, 180. So that's like a 100% move. So I got 1 left. Our entry was 94 cents, and this says the contracts are now 180. So that's 100. This is now at 100% trade. So we did that. Now let's see how we react to this level here, because I've seen this happen before, where these you don't think that these 2 candles here pre-market, you don't think that's that big of a deal, and you're like, it'll easily break that. But I have definitely lost trades because I enter before we break this pre-market support, and then it actually ends up being a lot stronger than I think it is. So let's see how it goes here. We've already trimmed 2. We only down to 1, so that was like 100% puts move. That was great. Now let's see how our runner does, because the problem is we are really far away from the 8 EMA. So the price is at 449.06, and the 8 is all the way up here at 450.28. Like, that's really far extended. It's very unlikely that it's going to keep going. It's not going to go forever, that's for sure. And when you're like $1.15, $1.20 away from the 8, it's really getting to the point where there's a high probability that it's going to go back to the 8 EMA. So let's see here. This is quite a big wick too. See how we came down, we pushed a little bit below this red line, and now we've wicked up a lot actually. So this isn't looking too good here, because that's a pretty big wick with a lot of buying volume coming in. So, well, let's give it patience. Let's see how the candle closes. It definitely looks like we're losing. A lot of buyers have come in at that level. Let's see, we got a minute left into the close. We're only holding 1 runner. We're up like $65 on our 1 runner. So that's pretty good. We're up like 65% or something. Or like probably 70% we're up on our runner. So, but I don't like how we wicked over that level. We need to push back below it here pretty quickly. Okay, we're making some headway down. Still good selling volume. We got 4 bars in a row down here with good selling volume. But now, yeah, now it's kind of falling down. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, well, we've already made a big move. We're showing signs of reversal. This is definitely a reversal candle here. Even though it's red, it's got a large buying wick. So, see how it closes here. We might have a little bit of a pullback. So at this point, since we've trimmed in profit, our strategy with the runner is we hold a runner unless for 2 things. Either price, as long as price stays below the 8 EMA, we hold the runner, or if the contract price comes back to our entry price, then we will get out of our position. Or the third thing, if you have a sign of reversal. So to me, like that's a pretty good amount of volume on that last candle. Most of it was buying. We have a perfect wick off of our level into a hammer candle, and now we have a green candle which has completely erased the previous candle. So this is not looking too good. I might just, in the essence of not losing all of my runner profit, I might just take this off. Let me see how this candle closes. If this candle closes as a green bar around this size, I think I might just take this off and not lose all my money, all my runner profit in the pullback. It's a really tricky thing to do though, because I don't know, it's just tricky. Everything says puts still. So we have an EMA cross, MACD cross. Everything looks good for puts. It just, yeah, we're gonna have to suffer a pullback. We've had a big move, now we're gonna pull back. So I know price is gonna come up here. It's just a matter of, do I want to trust that it's just going to come up here, touch the purple line, and keep going? Or do I think it's going to break the purple line? I don't know. Let's see. We've already had 2 good trades. We made money on calls. We made money on puts. So at this point, I'm not interested in sitting here all day. We're really not going down at all. We're up about 45% on our runners still, which is a good place to be. But the thing with these contracts are they lose value way faster than they gain value. So all of your profit can be lost here pretty fast. Yeah, if this bar closes like this, I think I'm just gonna get out of this, because this is a reversal candle. This is a strong buying candle. I'm not interested in giving all of my runner profit back. We're still up 40% on this runner. 3 minutes left. No, we're showing no signs of the move continuing downward. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut bait, whatever. So even on the runner, that was 35, 36%. So now we're out of the trade. Now let's just see what happens, because I know price is going to go back to that purple line. But it's just a matter of, is it just a pullback or is this a reversal? And that is impossible to know. So, but at this point it's 10:13. We made money on this little scalp here for calls, and we made a lot of money on this beautiful puts move. So I'm pretty satisfied with the trading morning so far. Let's just give it a little bit more time here and see how this plays out. Now we're kind of, when I see these green inside bars, I think it's almost better to just take profit and not hold. Otherwise you have to hold for 2 or 3 bars up here, and then it has to make its move down, and you could be sitting here another half hour waiting for it to get back to your same profit point. So let's just see what happens. A little bit of a selling wick, that's nice to see. "20 seconds left in the candle. Okay, candle close. Let's see what happens. So that did form, so there was a pretty decent selling wick on that candle, and it did sell off into the close of the candle, which is nice. But it did form a green kind of small inside bar relative to the bar before it. So let's see if we were right to close out, or should we have kept this runner. Right now it's looking like we should have kept a runner, but we're only 40 seconds into the candle. A lot can change. We probably could have held, if we decided we wanted to exit, we probably could have waited for this little thing to happen here, and we would have been up a decent amount, but that's okay. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Oh, now it's a green bar. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so now we're getting a little green, tiny little green hammer form. So this is, it definitely looks like it's going to pull back to the 8. So one thing you can do too is you could fade these moves if you want. Like if you've had this big move down here and you get a green bar, sign a reversal, I could buy calls right here. I could buy calls here and sell them up here and make like probably 10%. Like there's nothing wrong with doing that. I just have already had 2 trades. I don't really, there's not much point to take a third, but I have a fairly high level of confidence that even though all of our system says puts, this is going to make a little move and at least come up to 450 and touch the purple line. So you could fade these pullbacks and make money out of them. So let's see what we get. Okay, now we're going here. I mean, this isn't looking bad. This is looking pretty decent for a move to the downside still, for a continuation. This is a pretty weak pullback. We could still be holding our runner here. I just decided I didn't want to hold it anymore. We've already made, I mean, we just had 100% trade, so pretty happy with that. Let's see if we get above the high of this previous bar here. This should take off. A lot of people probably have a buy order sitting like a couple cents above this. If you're a strictly price action trader. Well, let's see what happens. Minute left in the candle. Yep, there we go. We're above the high. Now next we should hit the purple line. See how we react to the purple line. If we hit the purple 8 EMA and it pushes down pretty quickly, that's a great sign for puts. But if it flutters around this 8 EMA and doesn't sell off immediately, then that's very concerning if you're still in puts. So let's see how it reacts here. A lot of buying volume on this candle. Okay, now we're at the 8. So we were right in that we were right in predicting that it was going to pull back to the 8. So now we're at a pullback. So this is a good spot to enter puts because we've made the pullback. So this is a very safe place to enter the puts position. But let's see. So now it's real tricky. Now, do you take puts here, or do you wait and see if we break above the 8? Our setup says puts, so this is a place you could try puts if you miss this first move. This is your first good pullback to try a puts position, but I'm just gonna wait and see here. I already exited my position. According to this, though, if this price is right, we would still be up like 20%. But see, now we're pushing over the 8, so the fact that we're still hanging around the 8 and we're actually pushing over it kind of makes me think we're going to go higher here. I think these pullbacks, it needs to be a pretty fast, harsh reject of the 8 in order for it to be a valid pullback. This looks like it might break the 8 here. But let's see, now we're starting to push down a little bit. This is looking good. If you took a puts entry here, this is looking great. So let's see what happens. If this were to work for puts, I would expect this bar to continue red and to push down to here. But let's see. Nah, it's not really, there's not much follow through. There's not much selling coming on here. I wouldn't really be interested in taking calls though until we get over this 21 EMA and VWAP, which is right here, which is only another 30 cents. But let's see here. It's looking okay for puts. Looking okay. I'm going to get rid of this line because it doesn't need to be here. Let's see. Looking, see it bounced right back up. Like it's not, there's no follow through here. Halfway through the candle and hasn't made any progress on selling off. For this to be a valid pullback, we should not be spending this much time at the 8 EMA. It should come up, touch it, and sell off immediately. The fact that we're fluttering around here makes me think we're going higher. But let's see. Yeah. A little bit longer here. I'm not going to stick around too much longer because I'm getting hungry. I want to go eat. And we've already watched the 2 trades I want to watch. I just want to see how this pullback, if this pullback works or does it fail. So yeah, we're just hanging around. It's 3 minutes and 20 seconds and we're still sitting at the 8 EMA. Like if I took a puts entry here, I'd be like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get out because it should have moved at this point. It really should have started moving at this point. The real key is going to be the last minute of the candle. The last minute is always, in my opinion, the most important because that shows what the market's really going to do. Yeah, now we're over the 8. Looks like we're going to come up and touch VWAP in the 21. Yeah, this looks like it's going to go higher here. All it has to do is get above, yeah, there it's at the 21. Just get above here and this is going to go higher. So this, you could take a calls entry here if you wanted to. Anywhere in this area, as long as this candle closes above the 8, we're good for calls. Or at least to try it. This is also where you would want to, if you were still holding a runner from this trade, you would want to close it here because it looks like the candle's going to close above the 8 EMA. And when you close on the opposite side of the 8 EMA, that is a solid signal to get out of the trade that you're in. Now we're pushing over the 21. So this is definitely, if you were still holding a runner from puts earlier, I would get out. That's my opinion though. Do whatever you want. Yeah, this is looking good for, this is looking okay here for calls if you want to switch to calls. All right, now we have a close above all these EMAs. But we don't have the MACD, but look, the MACD is curled all the way back. Dark red bars. We had basically 2 candles of straight buying. This looks like it has the potential to go higher. At this point, it has the potential to come back up here. So you're at 451.70. You have a potential for a $1.30 move. I mean, a $1.30 move on SPY, that's, you can make $50 a contract with that move. So these calls down here, 82 cents. What were they at earlier? They were at like $1.40. So these calls could come back to $1.30 something easily if this keeps pushing up. $50 move here. It's looking good. Let's see here. Ideally, I would like to see at least the MACD cross, because I have seen this happen before on pullbacks where even if you get candle closes above these levels, this MACD, the line will come down, they'll touch each other, and then they'll open back up. So you really need to wait for like you need to really wait for like 1 or 2 bars after the cross to be for sure. But since this is just sitting at the 21 here, it's not selling off anymore. This could be a risky calls entry. You know, we tried to go higher. Initially, we tried to go higher and failed. We came down here, we tried to go lower and failed. Now we might try to go higher again. I'll zoom out a little bit and see what it looks like. Yeah, so we've kind of just been in a range. That doesn't tell you a whole lot. That doesn't tell you a whole lot. Okay. Yeah, so at this point, I mean, our setup still says puts. The MACD hasn't crossed, the EMAs haven't crossed. Now we're pushing back below the 8. So it's tricky when the 8 and the 21 are so close like this. Well, let's see how this candle closes. Because if this candle closes back below the 8, it kind of brings our put idea back. This is why it's tricky. So we've already had 2 wins today. We don't need to go crazy here and try to go for a home run. Let's just see what happens. It's only an hour into the morning. Yeah, see, we came down and flirted with the 8, but we pushed back up pretty quickly. So, I don't know. This is one of these things that's not real clear cut. That's the candle. It's pretty much not doing anything. Yeah, this candle isn't doing anything, so either, I mean, I could make an argument either way, but that's some pretty aggressive. See how the last 30-40 seconds of the candle, it's now changed completely, and I bet you this is going to close as a green candle. Yeah, look at that. 10 seconds left. It's going to close as a green candle. That's why you really have to wait for candle closes. Yeah, you really got to wait for candle closes because a candle can look very bearish, and then in the last 30 seconds it can completely change. So this is for sure looking like it can go higher now. Very close to getting the 8 to cross back over the 21. MACD is about to cross. Ignore that. That's not real. This is a glitch with OnDemand. I've noticed it does that. Whatever does that, just go in and reload it, and it gets rid of that fake spike. That's not real. This is definitely looking. Now we're above. We basically closed above. Well, I think we closed above VWAP. We're above the 21, the 50, and the 8 EMA. Above VWAP. We don't yet have our indicators haven't said buy yet, but if you did the fade, you'd be making out well if you faded this move back here. So we had the big puts move. We had a green, but we had a sign of reversal here with this hammer candle, and then we had a green inside bar. So that's definitely a reversal sign. You could have bought calls down here. You could have bought calls down in this area somewhere, and you would have been up. You know, you're basically made a dollar move at this point. 440. If you bought like 449.60, we're at 450.60, so you would have made a dollar move already. What time is it? 10:30. So a lot of times I've seen SPY give these okay moves. Like this looks like a great move, but I've also seen SPY after like 11:30 lunchtime just take off and make these really nice easy moves in the late afternoon or late morning, early afternoon. This is looking pretty good so far. This is still a good spot for calls. You basically are just about to get your EMA cross or your MACD cross and your EMA cross. You're making a nice push. You've got good volume. Sellers have basically disappeared. Like you had all this selling volume, and now its selling volume's just disappeared. So if you would have faded this move down here, you would have been up nicely. At this point, this is definitely going to touch high day. I'm curious actually, because I'm not a big Fibonacci person, but I'm curious where the Fibonacci's are. Oh yeah, it obliterated the Fibonacci. Yeah, it didn't do anything. It ignored the 50, it ignored the 61. See, a Fibonacci person would have bought puts like here. A Fibonacci person would be thinking puts because of this. I don't like Fibonacci though. I used to use it and I had some success with it, but now I just don't see the point of it. I like this system a lot better. So we're having some hesitation here at this 451 level. But let's see what it does. Pretty soon here I'm gonna call it quits. I'll turn off the OnDemand, and then we'll go to the actual chart and we'll see what it looked like, because it's definitely, I'm getting hungry here. Well, this looks like it's primed to keep going. The 8 is just about to cross over the 21. The MACDs are just about to cross. You got good buying volume. You're above all the EMAs. You break this level and you pretty much got room to high a day. At least 451.70, if not 451.87. Even the break of this level, this would be a good entry too. Have a candle close above this level. Let's see here. It's 45 seconds left. Yep. 12 seconds left to the close. You're basically going to close right at this 450.98. Man, that was a nice calls move if you would have faded it down. If you would have bought down here or bought on this candle, that was a nice move. I don't like to do that though, because then you got to break all these EMAs on the upside. That's a pretty hard thing to do. So let's see what this does. So now we have the EMA cross. The purple is crossed above the 21. It looks like the MACD is basically crossed. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I guess you call that a cross. But the bars have switched. It's gone from increasing selling momentum to now straight back into buying momentum. So that's looking good. Might get a little bit of a pullback here, because now you're a little extended from the 8. You're like 50 cents off above the 8. So you could look for this to come down here, do a pullback and rip. Maybe we'll watch this candle close and then I'll call it quits. Call it quits for the morning. Okay, so if you're thinking about buying calls here, I would be hesitant for the same reason that I would be hesitant buying puts down here, because you made a move. This is a pretty good move. This is a $1.80 move almost, and now you got a red inside bar forming. So this is a sign of a pullback. So at this point, I would want to wait and see if we get back down around the 80 EMA. That's what I would want to see. But now we're going to push off. 2 minutes left in the candle. It also might not give a pullback. It might just go. It's been a pretty strong calls move so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candles in a row. I'm going to let this candle close and then I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to stop the on demand and then I'm going to just go back to the real chart and we'll look at it and then wrap this up. But our indicators are saying calls. Price has shown a very nice move off of this support. Let's just see here. Didn't really give a pullback. It hasn't given a pullback entry yet at this point. At this point, I would wait for a pullback entry. Okay. Well, it's looking like it's going to give a pullback. Because it made a little push up and now it's selling back off. 1 minute left in the candle. So look at these contract prices down here. See the low of the contracts, these calls got down to like 60 cents. Well, they're currently at like a dollar. So 60 cents to a dollar, that's pretty good. That's well, if you have our little handy dandy tool here, that's like 65% move, 70, like a 70% move. So that's pretty good. There's a lot of good moves this morning. Okay, 13 seconds left. Red inside bar with a wick. This looks like it's going to pull back to the 21 or to the 8. So at this point, if you gotten calls up here and then this is the candle you saw, I would consider getting out and just waiting for the pullback and getting back in at a cheaper price. Because it's pretty likely that this is going to come down, touch this, and go. So maybe we'll give it a tiny bit more time here, because I'm curious to see what happens. I'm curious to see if this gives the pullback entry. I'm trying to learn about these pullbacks, so if we come this far, we might as well watch this one also. Oh man, yeah, that wasn't that was a pullback, but that didn't give you much. So another thing I've noticed is that if you're trying to enter on the 8, sometimes you only get like literally 2 seconds to buy at the 8. And if this is a strong move, it won't even come back to the 8. That little red bar there in the first 30 seconds of this candle, that might be all you get. Let's see here. If this breaks above this wick here, this is probably going to go straight to high day. So let's see here. This might not give a pullback to the 8. I've sat out of very nice calls moves. Well, very nice moves in general, because I was waiting for the price to come back to the 8 and it never came back. It was a strong enough move that it never gave you an EMA touch. And sometimes that happens. It's just a really tricky thing, is how do you find the balance between waiting for this purple line versus missing the move, right? Getting the cheapest, lowest risk entry versus taking an entry here and being in the move. I don't know. I haven't found that balance yet. It's what I'm hoping to learn from going back and watching all these moves replay, is to try to figure out a better way of doing it. Let's see here. But there's time. Like 5 minutes of a 5-minute candle is a really long time, actually. Especially when you don't want to do anything into the last 2 minutes. A lot of sitting here waiting. Okay, maybe this will give us a pullback after all. They have to come down another 30 cents to hit the 8. We fully got our call signal now. That's clearly crossed. This is clearly crossed. It's just doing a mini pullback before we go, if it goes. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to give the full pullback. It really doesn't look like it wants to go much lower. At this point, if I was still waiting, I think I might just enter. It's not looking like it's going to give much more of a pullback. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see, we got 50 seconds left in the candle. So I always like the last minute really tells you what's going to happen. the true action happens in the last minute. Candles can change completely in the last minute. This one's looking right at that level. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, there we go. So it's getting bought into the close. Makes me think this is going to go higher. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Didn't give me much of a pullback. But the thing is, if you in 20 minutes, this bar, this 8 EMA, the way it moves, this 8 EMA is probably going to be much closer to this low than it was in the way we just watched it. So I'm gonna get out of this. It's 10:45. Let's go back to August 4th, 10:45, and see what it looked like in real time. Let's go back here. Okay, let's find August 4th. Oh, all right, let's see what August 4th actually looked like. So, okay, so let me zoom out. All right, so this is where we left off. We left off at 10:45. We left off at this candle. So this candle, this was the candle we closed on. If it was red, it came down. So it did give an EMA touch. We had to wait a little bit longer. It did give an EMA touch. It did pull back, dip slightly below, and go back up. And then it kind of, two consolidation candles, a little up, touch, touch, touch. Came back, touched the 21. I mean, it was a slow move, but if you look though, it touched 452.89. So, I mean, shit. If you entered on this bar, these two, the combination of these two is a fade back to the 8. You could have faded back to the 8, taken profit, left a runner, and pretty much, I mean, depending how ballsy you were in holding, you got almost back to high day right here. Came down, closed below, touched the 21, but shot right back up. I mean, this is a pretty beautiful move. It did hit our earlier level. Came here, touched this, then we'll see what happens. Then we come over and, oh, Jesus. This was a great day for price action. Like, little baby calls move here, beautiful puts move, beautiful calls move, found a wall, 452.87, went below the 8, went below the 21. You got your EMA sell signal, you have your MACD sell signal. You could have gotten puts somewhere in this area, because that's a pretty solid wall. 4 candles, can't go higher. Below the levels, you get your sell signals. Made a little move down. EMA touch. This would have been a perfect entry right here. And then just, oh, look at that. Straight death. Gosh. You could have entered anywhere up in here. 452 to 451.78. And then 3 candles later, it was at 449.30. I mean, it went $2.50. Is that right? $2.50? Yeah, $2.50 in 3 candles. That's crazy. That was probably this was easily 100% call puts move right here. That point down here is 100% in puts. A baby little pullback right to this level. Another big move, just following the 8 all the way down. I mean, this was like a $5 sell-off. 451.78 to 446.70. Yeah, that's $5. This is probably like a 200% puts move, if not more, right here. This is just a great day for price action, and you could see it pretty easy to follow along using the different indicators and the way the candles move and everything. So I'm gonna close that out here. You could have traded this up, and then down again today. Just a great day. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Bye.